She is the co-host of Crooked's podcast, What a Day, an author whose book obviously is out now, and a returning champion. Please welcome Akilah Hughes. Akilah, it's good to see you.
It's so good to be back, Jon. You know I love doing this show.
You know what? You make us beg you, and you're so busy. You never find. Thank you for making the time.
I love being here. I think that this is going to be so much fun. I can't wait to see what's been going on with you guys. You know, it's been months.
Right.
The audience has been begging for me.
And you're here. And you're here. Let's get into it. What a week. Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, the two Democrats who refused to abolish the filibuster in the name of bipartisanship, this week issued a joint statement begging Republicans not to use the filibuster to block a bipartisan January 6th commission. Manchin and Sinema then walked over to the National Zoo, climbed into the tiger enclosure, and wrote the tigers a strongly worded letter explaining that eating them would be wrong. Just would be so...
They're the worst. I'm sorry. Yeah. I know I'm supposed to be at least a little kind, but come on.
Manchin released a follow-up statement the next day saying there is no excuse for any Republican to vote against this commission since Democrats have agreed to everything they asked for. Manchin went on to say, I'm starting to have serious doubts about their commitment to the system they tried to overthrow.
Yeah.
I'm not sympathetic in the sense that he deserves to be asked these questions endlessly. He's not a professional tennis player. He needs to answer the questions.
Yes, exactly.
There's no values at stake in professional tennis players saying, no press, thank you. But for Joe Manchin, he needs to answer the questions. But he's asked all the time, and he gave an answer, I think either today or, we're recording this Thursday, late Thursday, either today or yesterday, where he said, I'm not going to change my mind. I'm not going to do this to the country. I'm not going to destroy the country. If you looked at Joe Manchin's words, you're like, hold on, Joe. Hold on, Joe. Joe.
Let's just take it apart.
Okay, so you don't want to destroy the country. Agreed. We're all on the same page there.
Yeah.
This is a commission to try to understand the forces that tried to overthrow our government, ipso facto, destroy the country. Is there any lesson in that about how not investigating it, inaction, might, in some sense, cause the kind of destruction that you're trying to avoid, and that in perhaps adhering to these kind of norms with a Republican opposition that is untethered from reality and the same norms you seek to defend might actually invite not keeping up. And it really does remind me of like that moment in No Country for Old Men where like Tommy Lee Jones, I think he's at some sort of a greasy spoon in whatever part of the country that film takes place, Texas. And he has all the facts. He has all the information, but he can't wrap his mind around the darkness of the opposition. He can't truly understand what Javier Bardem is up to because he can't wrap his head around it. He can't allow it. Yeah. His life, his worldview, his experience won't give him, even though he has every piece of the puzzle.
And he's seen Javier's face before. Like, how can you see this man's face and not assume he's doing something messed up? He shows up in a movie, he's the villain. You're not going to see him as everybody's hero.
If the rule you followed brought you to this, of what use was the rule?
That's a great question. I mean, I also feel like Joe Manchin is destroying the country. So, like, he can save it, quite frankly. If I'm burning your house down, but I say, I don't want to burn your house down, does it really matter? He's watching someone burn the house down.
To play the analogy out, he is standing outside of the fire with a fire hose, asking the arsonist for permission to use the water.
When they say they don't want to, he thinks, that's okay. That's okay. I don't want to be the one to destroy the house. Y'all can keep destroying the house.
Speaking of insurrectionists, Marjorie Taylor Greene, a botched painting restoration that learned to do CrossFit, has spent the last several days repeatedly comparing mask and vaccine mandates to the Holocaust. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy finally scolded her in a statement, but what's he going to do, punish her? It's not like she said something crazy like Joe Biden won the election. That would have consequences.
I like this one, okay? I like it. I think that Marjorie is just so embarrassing. It's also like very late in the game to be like, and everything is the Holocaust. Of like, is this the right's answer to people saying everything is Hitler? Is that they're like, everything's actually the Holocaust. You weren't wrong. It wasn't hyperbole. I just think that, me wearing this gold star to get into a concert, that's what they were doing in the Holocaust. They were just giving people gold stars for that reason. They weren't doing it, for any other in nefarious reason. It was all because people wanted to be safe at a concert, and that is her understanding. The school system in Georgia is really, really having a bad day.
I see that like reporters like go and like try to get her to clarify, and like, no, she's not.
I don't want to hear more details from a stupid person, quite frankly.
Not on the level here,
Mm-hmm.
There are smart good people. There are dumb good people.
Mm-hmm.
There are smart bad people, but there are also dumb bad people. And sometimes there's a reason to go back to a smart bad person, your Ted's Cruz, your Mike's Pompeo, ask a follow-up. Sometimes they do clarify. Sometimes they do. But Marjorie's Taylor Greene, they're not going to give you any kind of like reflection. I wouldn't worry about it. No need for follow-ups.
That's right. I liked when Ted Cruz said, I understand why he said my wife was ugly, and I stand by saying nothing. I think that it makes sense. And that's what that silence was about. Back to you.
Back to you. What comes next is, I would say, is questionable. All right? Mm-hmm. And I just want you to go into it with open eyes and open ears.
I'll do my best.
Okay. Meanwhile, Gladissiknik, the mother of fallen Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, requested a meeting with every single GOP senator to push them to support the commission. Think of what Republicans have put this woman through. No one should have to lose a son and then meet Ted Cruz. I don't think so. I don't know.
You're not brave enough. I don't think so. You're not brave enough.
I don't know.
Leave it in, Jon. It's true. Listen.
Too glib, maybe. What do you think?
I think you should leave it in, and here's why. Okay, the people of Texas, some people froze to death this year, and their families were offered a meeting with Ted Cruz. It is a bad consolation for anything. I never want to meet him. He's worse than death.
Okay.
Akilah went on the record saying it. So.
All right, well. Send your comments to Akilah. I had to cut it. We're leaving it in on her account.
Leave the rating on Love It or Leave It Not on What a Day.
No, here's what I want. I want 5 stars on Love It or Leave It, and I want angry tweets at Akilah. That's the rule. That's what we're doing.
Fine.
No angry tweets at Akilah. She gets plenty. All right. She knows how to stir the pot. All right. She doesn't need help. Also this week, there's been renewed debate over a hypothesis that COVID-19 leaked from a Wuhan laboratory because a group of prominent virologists published a letter in the journal Science calling for it to be seriously examined. It's worth noting, the letter does not say that the virus leaked from a lab. The letter asks for a dispassionate, science-based discourse on this difficult but important issue, which is like, okay.
Yeah.
Scientists are like, hey, Twitter, listen. We're going to try something. You hear me? In the back, listen, Twitter, all of you, you animals. We're going to have I said dispassionate, science-based discourse. Dispassionate. No, that's not it. No, it's a difficult but important issue. Dispassionate. That's a snake emoji.
I'm not saying dis is passionate. I'm saying dispassionate.
I know that my last name is Fartsmith, and no, I don't think these jokes are funny. It's Dr. Fartsmith.
Yeah, and while we're at it, I think that we should have a very dispassionate discourse about Taika Waititi and Rita Ora, whoever that is. I don't think we should have conjecture or questions about the relationships, the thruple, quadruple, or fifuffle that is in the photos.
I've let that tube in the lazy river go by.
I'm on it waving. Like, Taika's single, y'all. Y'all got room for one more? They're dragging me down the river.
So I had actually meant just talking about it, but you're like, let's I'm
on board. Call me. It has been a long pandemic. I will learn who Rita Ora is for this endeavor. I'm not saying I'm going to learn today, but I'll know by the end of the ride. She's the best agent in Hollywood. Wasn't she nominated for an Oscar? Who is she? She could be in my house right now. And I feel like, excuse me, ma'am. I think you're lost. Who are you?
She's like, I'm Rita Ora. We've met several times. Not only am I famous, you and I, Akilah, have met. I am Rita Ora, and we have met. We were on a bachelorette party together. We spent 3 days in Nashville together.
I got nothing, Rita. You sound cool, I guess, in theory, but still couldn't put you out in a lineup.
Anywho, this lab leak theory was dismissed by some because then President Trump and then Secretary of State Mike Pompeo both blamed the pandemic on the virus lab in Wuhan, and neither offered any credible evidence. It was part of an effort to deflect blame from their mishandling of the pandemic. Trump even claimed he had a high degree of confidence that the virus came from the Wuhan lab, but proof never materialized. So you can understand everyone's reservations embracing this as a possibility. Like, you know, like the old saying, a racist clock is right twice a day. No, that's not right.
Yeah, I guess that's not right.
That's not right. Hated that. But like, I find this whole conversation like very silly, because I do think there were some people who were like, it's misinformation. And then there were some people who said liberals can't handle that this is from a lab. And I think actually most people were like, I don't fucking know. And honestly, right now, it doesn't really matter, because it's not in the Wuhan lab anymore. If that's where it came from, it's fucking everywhere. And you're calling it the China virus, not for any purpose of helping us understand our situation, but to deflect blame. And pardon me, if there was some skepticism of a claim made by history's greatest liars. I was suspicious of history's greatest liars.
Yeah. You know, it's not like they're investigating if it came out of Ted Cruz's mouth. I mean, I had to find out that fly wasn't there. So, like, you know, it could have been from anybody's house, his mom's house. We don't know. Let us know when you know. That's where I'm at as a news person. When they find out, give me a ring.
We don't know yet where the virus came from. We now do know. We have confirmed that the fly did not go into Ted Cruz's mouth. That's false. That's misinformation. That's left-wing propaganda.
Yeah. I don't know where COVID came from, but I know where it went. I can point to several places it's been. So if you need me, I was a witness.
Anyway, speaking of searching for the facts, this is going to be a weak transition. Who cares? The criminal investigations into Trump and his associates are heating up, as they say. Federal prosecutors investigating Rudy Giuliani have seized more materials than were previously made public, including messages and documents belonging to high-profile Ukrainians. The reason we know about this, Akilah, is that the prosecutors fucked up the redactions. It's an accident. No. We found out some information by mistake, which I love because it's a legal fuck-up. And as the saying goes, in order to catch a Giuliani, one must become a Giuliani. You have to think like Giuliani. You have to act like a Giuliani.
What would Rudy Giuliani do in releasing this? We can't release it at the Four Seasons Landscaping. That's tired. What we should do is have an unpaid intern highlight the wrong thing. He's like, you said leave all the names in? Is that what you said? Leave all the names?
I actually don't know what the redaction error was. I would say a non-Giuliani type mistake would be to black it out, but then not have flattened the PDF so that it was still findable, like the text was still searchable. But that's too cool. That's too classy for Giuliani, because if Giuliani fucked it up, it would just be that he went too fast with the marker and you could still read the words underneath. I don't know what level of sophistication the fuck up was.
Yeah, I think he would have been like, I thought you could redact in yellow highlighter. I didn't know it had to be black in any case. Don't read that part.
So Rudy's on the hot seat. But here's what Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance and New York State Attorney General Tish James had to say.
You've taken care of the little fish. I will take care of the one that got away.
Yes. That's from Clear and Present Danger. That's not actually Tish James or Cyrus Vance. But Trump himself is now facing 2 ongoing investigations of his business practices in New York, including one by New York Attorney General Tish James. Both investigations in part stemming from testimony provided by Michael Cohen, which makes Cohen officially one of the good rats, like Pizza Rat or Master Splinter. And I think that's nice.
Charles Entertainment Cheese is loving it.
Rats of Nim.
Yeah, Remy Ratatouille.
Those diplomat mice from that Disney film before the
oh, that's right. The Rescuers Down Under.
Yeah, but that's the sequel. Isn't that the sequel?
Just the Rescuers.
Those mice were great. They had a really nice relationship.
Beautiful hats.
I like a movie where the mice are they're not looking just for cheese. They're solving diplomatic problems. That's cool.
Yeah, traveling the world, doing their little business.
Anyway, people close to the investigation say the probes are expansive, which is not surprising. Takes an expansive probe to deal with a huge asshole.
Here for it.
You know what I mean? Do you get it?
Yeah, I totally get it.
You got it?
Yeah. Right there with you.
You got it.
Pick it up what you're putting down.
No U.S. president has ever been charged with a criminal offense after leaving office, though George W. Bush's portraits are considered a crime against chiaroscuro.
True. I don't know why we pretend they're good. I don't know why.
Yeah,
There's something there. They're just like, they're like, mommy's first canvas, sort of like.
I think we have to admit, if we're, honest and confident in our worldview, that they're better than they should be.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I was expecting finger paint, and it does seem like he didn't use his fingers for all of it.
His portraits have some pathos, and it's time we face it. All right?
Yeah.
It's time we face it.
Well, he always wanted to go to art school anyway. It was his dad's dream for him to be president.
That's a trend. In response to the news that a grand jury had been convened, Trump posted to his blog on Tuesday that this was a, quote, a continuation of the greatest witch hunt in American history. And now we finally get to see if he floats. Please, let's find out. All right, it's a witch hunt. Let's see if he floats. Which one do you want? East River? No. East River or Hudson? It's a Manhattan event. It's a Manhattan issue. You can pick your river.
Yeah. I have a question, though. Like, how is it the greatest witch hunt if we still haven't found the witch? Like, I feel like the greatest one is still the one where it's like, there's the witch. Like, it has to conclude, right? Is the hunt really just the pursuit? I mean, also, those maybe they weren't real witches, but back then they thought they found some. So is he saying, like, they almost got me? We're almost at the conclusion. Carmen Sandiegos ran out of real estates to hide behind.
Doesn't really make sense, right? Because, like, a witch hunt is looking for a witch in response to evidence that you found, like the crops died, or there's not been any rain, or the goats are sick,
or she can read and write.
Or she can read. Those kinds of problems. Yeah. They're like, we have dead goats reading women. Something has to give. Who's responsible? Let's hunt for the witch. It's not a witch hunt. We know who Trump is.
Yeah, we're looking at his actual files. It's not just conjecture. We're looking at literal things he's signed and written and falsified. Like, that's just facts. It's not a witch hunt.
Anyway, enough of that fucking guy. Look, here's the thing, all right? We're going to cover Donald Trump's criminal malfeasance because it's interesting and because he's an ex-president and because he may run again. But it's worth noting just how far his star has already fallen. Not saying he can't come roaring back. He's the leading candidate in the Republican primary already.
At age 1,000.
So he's not on Twitter, Akilah. All he has is his blog. How popular is it? Akilah, it's time for a lightning round quiz. Here's how it works. I'm going to name a website, and you have to say if it's more or less popular than DonaldJTrump.com. Are you ready?
Yeah. Bored ready for this.
Findagrave.com.
1,000%. Especially in the era we're living in. There's no doubt. There's no
good point.
doubt. I know it's
Dark.
bleak.
MedievalTimes.com.
Oh, yeah. People are going out to eat.
Less popular. Less popular.
Less
Incorrect.
popular?
Trump beats Medieval Times. CirqueDuSoleil.com.
I'm going to say more popular.
Less popular.
Less?
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants
Clowns.
fucking fancy circus. I don't know. The fancy circus has never made any sense to me. Like, what's the Venn diagram of people who want fancy and people who want circus? I can have
that's a good
fancy
point.
and I can have circus, but I don't need fancy circus. Dilbert.com.
Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, that just redirects to donaldtrump.com.
I mean, I don't know. People are searching out Dilbert. I don't know. Maybe they are. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more popular. Dilbert.com, more popular than Donald Trump's website. And finally, mangafreak.net.
Oh, definitely more popular. Yeah.
Way more popular. I actually don't know if it's way more popular, but it is more popular.
Yeah. I mean, in this room.
You've won the game, Akilah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm so happy. I think it's great. Lots of websites are more popular than Trump. I actually wanted to tell you, I went to that Frank website, the one from the pillow guy, and because he was yelling about how you have to put in your phone number else it won't work. So I put in 555-5555. That's enough. They don't tell you that's bad. And it's just a lot of posts about pillow sales, like $29.99, 2 pillows for $30. So weird that Trump didn't
believe that you
put
went
his blog
to that website.
And yeah, it didn't seem like 900 million people were on there. I just want to say.
It always really does take me out of a movie when they're like, oh, you can reach me at 555-1212. I hate that shit. Find a fake number.
Right. Yeah, buy the number, then make it like something ridiculous if somebody actually calls. Like, who cares?
Timothée Chalamet will play Willy Wonka in a musical adaptation that finally gives us the origin story for which we have been clamoring. Alternate title. I'm very sorry for what I'm about to say. Twink invents Twinkies. That's... I don't know. That's not anything.
I'm okay with it. I am not okay with him being Willy Wonka. I think if there was ever a shoe-in and a time for a progressive reboot, should have been me. Yeah. I think that I play both sides. No one knows what I'm going to say. And if some kids eat my candy, they can die. Here's
the thing. I do think that, Akilah, you do have the energy of a benevolent capitalist who does kill kids that annoy you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I can see that.
That's going to be my eulogy that you do for me.
Oh, please. Mm-hmm. You'll bury me. Don't worry.
Thank you so much. Wow. You have a lot of faith in my body.
Amazon has agreed to buy MGM Studios for more than $8 billion, winning it 50% control of the James Bond franchise. That won't change the release date for the long-awaited next Bond film, No Time to Die or Organize.
Oh, no time to pee.
No time to pee.
No bathrooms to pee in. It's just James Bond running out of a warehouse. Like, where is the bathroom?
This place is a mile long. What do you? Yeah, like James Bond.
You're timing
James Bond.
me?
Yeah, license to kill, but no license for more than 15 minutes for that break. And finally, the El Paso Zoo is pressing charges after a video posted on social media showed a woman entering an animal enclosure to feed 2 spider monkeys her hot Cheetos. Akilah, they caught her red-handed.
I love that. I love that.
That's a great
joke.
way to end on a real...
I loved it. No, I think that's right. Her fingers were red. I saw that, so one of the producers on my show, Sonia, likes to eat her Cheetos with chopsticks. Innovative. Game changer.
Oh, that's cool. That's so sophisticated.
It looks very cool. Yeah, she should have done that to the spider monkeys, then maybe she wouldn't go to jail.
I've never been a Cheetos person or a Doritos
Did you have
person.
braces?
I did have braces.
See, I think that most people who had braces just avoid it. I don't know if you saw Can't Hardly Wait, the best film of the 90s. But none of us want to be Chester Cheetah. Seth Green has his braces off and he hits on a girl. And she goes, "Oh my God, we used to call you Chester Cheetah." And I never wanted to be Chester Cheetah.
Oh man, that movie. I wonder if it holds up. Does it hold up? Have you seen it?
I actually did watch it in the quarantine, and I think it's great. A lot of people in it that you think should have more than one line, like Melissa Joan Hart, who, was in lots of things. Seems like she could have had a bigger role than just girl who wants people to sign her yearbook. Jennifer Love Hewitt also is just sort of like there. She has no lines. She's just the hot girl. It's a lot.
Yeah, she's an object. Yeah, it's a big cast in that film. Akilah, any final thoughts?
I think that this was a week, for sure. Mm-hmm. And looking forward to the holiday. Get to eat some food. That's all I have to say about all of the news. Thank God there's not going to be any over the weekend while I'm eating that food.
No news over the weekend, all right?
Yeah.
Listen, we worked pretty hard to get rid of the last guy who was a big fan of making news whenever the fuck he wanted because he didn't care about anybody but himself, and honestly barely cares about himself, really, deep down.
Yeah, I mean, he got COVID in the middle of the night. That was rude. Do it in fucking work hours, dog.
You want to push Joe Biden to go harder and go faster? I'll tell you one thing. He gives us our weekends.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love not knowing what's going on the weekends because nothing's going on. It's just me and Mayor and a bunch of food.
You and Rita and the director of, I think, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes, the director of Thor Ragnarok and Tessa Thompson, who just was hot and happy to be there.
Akilah Hughes, thank you so much. When we come back, Rita Ora. Oh, no.
Who booked her?
She's in this Zoom. Fuck.
Sorry, Rita. Sorry. Also nominated for an Oscar, I believe. What?
It's love it or leave it.